Okay, so the roll call.
Crouch.
Present.
Youngkus.
Present.
Muth.
Present.
Holland. Quinn.
Yes.
Hewson.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. We have quorum, Ms. Chair.
Perfect. Approval of the agenda. I'll motion to approve the agenda as long we don't have any changes.
There are
Right?
no changes to the agenda.
Move seconds.
Okay. And I'm sorry, who moved that? Was that Muth?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. I got it. Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote. Crouch.
Yes.
Yonkis.
Yes.
Muth.
Yep.
Okay. Quinn.
Yes.
Hewson.
Yes.
I feel like I need to get you guys candy bars. I feel like 1 o'clock on a Friday. Not in person.
Hey,
I hope you guys are excited about this.
hey, Amy, am I coming all right?
You're coming through kind of garbled.
Hey,
You're
Amy.
like a fax machine.
Yeah.
Garbled. Okay.
Yeah. But that was
All right.
a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm cell.
Got it.
I'm on my cell network, so I'm not great.
Okay. Well, we'll make do. Okay.
Amy Holland also is here.
Oh, Megan joined. Perfect. Did you skip your other meeting for us?
No, it got done earlier than I expected. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Limit public comment to 2 minutes. So we'll move on to public comment. Each caller in the queue will have 2 minutes to address the board. Callers will be identified by the last 3 digits of their phone number. When called on, you will be unmuted. At the end of 2 minutes, the secretary will share 2 minutes has passed. That will be placed back on mute. If you do not wish to speak, please indicate so by saying pass. And the following is not a requirement, but does help the clerk. If you choose to speak, please clearly state your name, business affiliation, or address before addressing the board. Is there anybody in the queue?
There is no one in the queue, so you can open and close it unless any committee members want to talk about something not on the agenda.
All right, public comments open. Does anybody have anything to say? Nope. All right, closed. Financial reports.
Okay. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of where we are to date with everything. And I think that I will probably start with page 2 as I normally do. So for the month of October thus far, you have had expenditures for the staff salaries that support our 2 internship positions, as well as the computer rental. We did do a reprinting of the Downtown Mass Required. Probably several of you have seen the huge banner that is now along the skywalk at the Marriott. If you haven't, I encourage you to check it out. But this was just for the 8.5 by 11 flyers as we received some additional requests for more. We did a GoDaddy domain renewal, which was relative to our East Lansing Buzz webpage that we maintain and provide updates for. The same with our Call Loop subscription. So that is the text messaging service that we subscribe to. And really, other than that, it was a lot of things geared towards our Great Pumpkin Photo Contest. So we printed off professionally printed flyers that have been hand delivered to businesses. So they have the opportunity to put those in their windows or in their general message boards. We also have a selfie backdrop. So at the East Lansing Farmers Market last Sunday and then again this Sunday, persons can safely line up, 6 feet between themselves and then take photos in front of the backdrop. And because it's in the downtown and because it has pumpkins in it, they could be entered into our drawing. So that's kind of a fun addition that the Farmers Market agreed to partner with us on. And then finally, we did purchase some stencils to continue with the social distancing. So we have some Michigan State University students that are volunteering their time. And so we've had them go out a lot in the last week or so, and they've been spray painting various messaging, everything from, stay 6 feet apart to remember to social distance. So perhaps you've seen that. That is now throughout all 6 blocks of the downtown. So If you haven't seen it or you see a huge empty gap, let me know, because the intent is to try to fill all of that. And obviously we had them go out this week because, as we all know, there's a football game tomorrow. So we were trying to kind of encourage that safe behavior. And then finally, while we haven't made any payments towards them, we do have the professional services agreement with Piper and Gold. I'm going to give you a quick update on that in just a little bit. And then for the holiday installation, we reserved up to $11,000 at the last board meeting for decorations. So all told, again, you're operating on a budget of approximately $76,170. You have expended approximately $14,380 to date, and you have $36,000 pending. So you have about 20 or so thousand more dollars to expend during your current budget year. And obviously there might be additional fundraising opportunities or things of that nature, but that is where we stand to date. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. This is just a snapshot of, the more specific events and activities that we usually fund. Are there any questions?
I'm all set. Does anybody else have any questions?
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
The holiday lights,
Yeah.
didn't they screw something up last year, and were they going to credit us, or what was?
Yeah, so good memory. So last year what happened was we had a contract with Shine Lighting. We had the additional, if you remember, that last year is the year that we purchased the additional garland and red bows for the side streets. And they erred and did not get them up when they put up the rest of the stuff. So what happened was we actually in the last fiscal year, we paid less than the contract because they didn't charge us, obviously, because they didn't put up everything. So we didn't get a credit for this year. We just paid less last.
Paid less. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep, a great memory. Yep. Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Amy, on the sign, I think we over some year increase each year, being a little more and more. After the end of 5 or 6 years, we have kind of a full fleshed out. Are we increasing our supply this year at all, or is it just the same as last year?
Sorry, Tom, you cut out there. Was your question about holiday decorations?
Yes.
Yes. So great question. So I was going to leave this till the end, but let's just get into it right now. So here's what happened at the last board meeting. Several of you were present. For the last board meeting, the board said to staff, we would like for you to continue to put up garland and bows along, because we own, right, enough supplies along Grand River, MAC, Charles, Bailey, and Division. Then you said to us, will you please work with Shine Lighting to see about solar lights? So on a Friday, 2 Fridays ago, I met with Shine Lighting. I took them throughout the downtown. They said, we're not sure if we have a commercial product, but let us look into it. Let us talk to our suppliers. So here's the bad news. The bad news is they don't have like a commercial brand. They do have stuff that they put on personal houses, but they really don't recommend it because they said if we're going to wrap it around the base of the lampposts, it's not going to be bright. It's going to look dull. That's their professional opinion. And they feel like because it's not a commercial grade, the lights are basically probably going to be only good for one winter. And so they don't necessarily think that that's a good investment, right? This is what they've said. So marketing committee talked about it on Tuesday, and marketing said, okay, we trust this analysis. But what also happened was just before the marketing committee meeting, I'd had a responsible hospitality council meeting. I know many of you are aware of that, but that's the group of the restaurant representatives. And at the RHC meeting, this question actually came up. So decorations are obviously on everybody's mind. And they said, hey, how come the DMB doesn't put the garland and the red bows on Abbott? And I was like, I will find out, because what I couldn't remember off the top of my head was whether or not the cities, we do put real greens in front of City Hall, and I just couldn't remember if the city paid for that area of the downtown or if they didn't. So long story short, the marketing committee talked about all this. I reported back to the marketing committee what Shine had said. I reported back to the committee the fact that there was a request to consider the faux garland and the red bows along Abbott and Albert, because I know that that was a discussion for our group last time. So right now, the marketing committee is planning to recommend to the full board at the board meeting in November that you guys purchase additional garland and red bows that would go up Abbott. So Abbott between Grand River and Albert between Abbott to MAC for right now. And that is $2,503. At the last board,
Fantastic thing.
you had approved up to $2,000 for solar lights, so it'd only be about $500 more. So that's kind of the current discussion. And I think that the thought process is we do that much at Albert now, and then the next winter we do more and more and more. So I don't know if anybody has any
Yeah,
concerns.
I think I did
That's
definitely.
the
Each
third.
year increase our,
Yep, that was the
that
kind
sounds good to me. Yeah,
Okay.
just each year increase it more and more.
Yep. So that's where we're at. Obviously, the full board's going to talk about it, but if you guys have strong opinions on it, you know, I can put that in a memo, but the full board will talk about it at the November board meeting. So right now, I still put in your budget that we had reserved, it's $8,600 to put up the normal. And I reserved the additional $2 because when we had talked about lighting. So right now you've got $11,000 reserved out of your budget.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If the full board approved $2,000 and we have the ability to approve 500, why can't we just do it now?
Well, so the issue is because I went back and I listened to the tape. I mean, technically the motion from the board was to approve $2,000 in lights. It wasn't decorations. That was the motion. I know, but I'm just being, I'm just telling you what the motion was because I went back to the tape to see if we could do that. Now, Madam Chair, perhaps you feel like we should go a different direction, but the motion on the floor was lights, not decorations. Maybe you all imbue that as decorations.
Lights are a kind of decoration.
And they
Yeah, I mean,
are. So, I mean, if I'm hearing resounding
how
support,
many of us are on this board right now?
right.
Are there 5 of us on here right now?
1, 2, 3,
Well,
4.
So, not to be a stickler, but while lights are kind of decoration, decorations are not a kind of light.
All right.
And so if
All right, that's fine.
ocean was for lights,
Yeah.
you can't really, even though it's silly and pedantic, you know, it should say decorations. And I think going forward, we should just, whenever we're talking about holiday stuff, we should just call it decorations.
Decorations. I agree.
And so that should be the general term for what we use. But I think in this case, we don't have the authority to do it. That's my read.
All righty. Then we'll wait.
We could also call an emergency board meeting, Chanel, next week.
I mean,
Everybody wants to
I
see
mean,
me
it's
again
enough
and just
time.
approve that.
It's enough, November still enough time, right? To get it done?
I asked them and they said yes. They said it usually takes a minimum of 12 days to get the inventory in and then they immediately ship it. So
When are they planning on putting it up? What we already
right,
have.
yeah, what we already have, they're planning on putting up before Thanksgiving.
So do they think, so we could get this added at the same time?
Their hope, that's their indication right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So why don't we vote in support or like give a statement so that we can like rush along in the next meeting? That
Right. That the marketing and the business
That-
relations
yeah.
committee recommend this.
this
and that we
doesn't have to
should
take
just-
up like 20 minutes in the next meeting.
Yep, I can absolutely do that. Okay.
The only concern is when they say they ship it right away. There's some
Right.
shipping glitches right now that
Yes.
I don't think they really can control that.
I mean, I have zero problem, you guys, calling a very quick one item board meeting next week. That is your decision.
If it doesn't come in time, we have to pay an extra fee to get this put up if it's not being put up at the same time, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So they said, when is our board meeting? I'm just looking at a calendar.
November 3rd. It's election day. Is that November 3rd?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, if we order it on the 3rd, because you could technically call them after the meeting and order it, that
Right.
would give us 3 weeks and 2 days until Thanksgiving.
Right.
I don't know. It's up to everybody else if they want to do a special board meeting. I don't care.
I don't care either. I'd also like to offer that we already do have approval for the vast majority of it in decorations. Is that right or not?
You do. You have $9,000 in this year's budget. The current is 8,600, right, for what you have, because I had overestimated. So right now you're looking at, well, that'll get you your 2,500 basically. So,
Okay.
so I guess the question is, do you want to see Gabby and I next Tuesday? Or,
I would say let's just do a quick one Tuesday, get it over with, and give us extra time just in case
Okay.
we need it.
Yeah, because I don't.
If talk about
I
a
agree.
5-minute.
so board members, by a show
Yes.
of hands, who could make a very quick 2 o'clock board meeting next Tuesday if we sent out the invitation today? Yes? Justin's mulling over it. Okay, done. I will tell the marketing committee we're so excited to see them again, and we'll just make it this item. We'll get approval, and then Gabby and I can roll. I agree with that assessment. So, okay, great. That's what we shall do. Okay, so in the spirit of trying to stay organized and recognizing there's a lot going on with holiday stuff, I wanted to provide a quick staff report regarding the calendar of events and just kind of review with you kind of what we've done so far with COVID and what we are thinking. So we all know that the Great Pumpkin photo contest is going on right now. People are going to be able to submit that until midnight, November 1st, right? So the photos are coming in. They're going to win prepaid Visa gift cards. Super cute. People love it so far. We're going to spend a lot of our time today talking about what do we think is appropriate for the holidays. And so Gabby and Justin Dwinke from Parks and Rec and I have all been kind of talking a lot about this lately. A couple of things to bear in mind is that, you know, we know that we're going to have the holiday decorations installed like we talked about. At the marketing committee meeting on Tuesday, they did approve some ads for Black Friday. So I think that it's their hope that businesses will do promotion of the Black Friday event, and then we'll just boost some Facebook posts and kind of do general messaging. And then today we're really going to talk a lot about Winter Glow. What does that look like? Is it Winter Glow Green Friday? Is it just, we call it something else? What does that look like? And then really Toys for Tots. So that's really going to bring us to the end of the calendar year. Then in the spring, hopefully, perhaps, maybe things are a little more normal and we can start to think more about, you know, some outdoor activities, you know, perhaps the downtown business cocktail soiree, I don't know, but, you know, I know that, you know, right now they have not canceled things yet, like the Science Festival. They have not canceled things yet, like, you know, the new ISO 5K or the art festival. Things might have a little bit different feel, or they might, you know, do things in smaller groups, but those are kind of some of the spring activities. So I just kind of wanted to kind of show you that quickly so that you knew where we were at and what was going on. The other thing I wanted to share is that last week we were approached by the Chamber of Commerce finalizing their business call. They're calling it a small business call, but frankly, it could be any business, right? They're not really kicking anybody out. And so this is where, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but this is where people are encouraged to come downtown during a week or two, grab a passport, get stamped, and be entered into win prizes. So they are planning to do that in November and in December. So I just kind of wanted to make everybody aware of that as well. Does anybody have any questions about the calendar? Okay. Okay, so if not, I'm going to jump ahead. Let's talk about Winter Glow, guys. So here are some concepts that staff has come up with. You can certainly like them, love them, hate them. But here's kind of what we were thinking. So we were thinking that maybe we would try a passport focused event where people would be encouraged to come into the businesses. You know, perhaps the businesses offer deals and discounts. Maybe you think that's necessary, maybe you don't. But they come into businesses, they get a stamp or a sticker or whatever you guys might like. You know, they're given a map showing all the businesses that are participating. And then they can be entered in to win gift cards to downtown East Lansing businesses. Another component we thought about was maybe we could make like snow globes because the winter glow, or perhaps nice snowflakes, because those have been the insignia of the winter glow in the past. And, you know, maybe print something nicely or purchase small ones and give them to the businesses, and maybe host like a window decoration contest or something to get the businesses involved. I don't know if you had time to review Gabby's memo or if you looked at Justin's ideas. Justin from Community Events, not our very own Justin Houston, but you know, we have, the Downtown Management Board has $3,500 budgeted originally for Green Friday and for Winter Glow sponsorship. It would be our recommendation to staff that if you want to do an event, right, you might consider budgeting up to that amount. And we kind of finalize, you know, what the promotional event might look like. The other thing ancillary to this, so not necessarily, you know, what we're talking about, is that the Downtown Development Authority yesterday did approve some funding for some pop-up markets, probably likely to occur perhaps the end of November, beginning of December. Adam Cummins has been working really hard on this concept. So I do think that you might see sort of what I'll use, for lack of a better term, of like sort of mini farmers market, but pretty cool, right? They don't necessarily have to be all food vendors. They could be more craft in nature. I think Adam's going to talk to you a little bit about that at the November meeting, but I think ancillary, it's important to know that, you know, we are kind of working really hard as community development staff to sort of build upon this idea of some additional things we could do safely downtown. So I think at this point, I'm going to open it up for discussion unless Gabby has anything she wants to add, and kind of talk about, you know, what do you think about this concept? Do you like it? Do you think it's lame? Do you think we do something different? Because this is what Justin from Community Events and our staff have come up with so far.
Can you scroll up to page 1?
Yep, absolutely. For Justin's memo, yep.
Thank you.
This is Tom here. I'm very supportive of the market. You know, we talked in the past initially, I talked about trying to do some kind of Christmas market, like a German style Christmas market. So it tells into that really nicely. So I think that would be a good idea if we can get something together for that.
Okay, great.
We budget how much for this again? 20?
We budgeted this fiscal year $3,500 towards Winter Glow and Green Friday.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think this is clearly going to cost $3,500, but
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I would, if the winter markets are going to actually be a thing, and I mean, I haven't kept up with the DEDA's approval and what that actually means and what it's actually going to look like. But I would rather put all of the focus on that to maximize, because I know that that's probably going to be a decent cost, and maximize that rather than trying to add in extra things that I don't necessarily know if people are actually going to participate in.
okay.
So that's my
I agree.
So your thought is perhaps, let me make sure I understand this. Perhaps we provide like a sponsorship.
Yeah, or if we just put our
Market.
$3,500 into marketing it, or what, I don't know. I have to know more, I guess, about exactly what the markets are going to look like or whatever. But to me, I think trying to go, since we're not doing the Winter Glow the way it has traditionally been used, and that draws a lot of people, I think the best way is to get those same amount of people through the markets and into the businesses obviously it would be at separate times rather than trying to create a second event that just dilutes the attention. And I don't know how effective that I think the markets would be more effective in getting people downtown than a second program.
Okay.
The markets are something different, and people are craving right now like events, whether it's they're kind of craving some sort of activity to do with their families that, you know, they can feel like they're getting outside and doing stuff safely, obviously, but people are kind of craving let's go to a market. That sounds really fun where we can go out, do something and feel somewhat normal, you know, at the holidays. So I feel like that is a really good way that we can convince people to attend safely and they could feel good about it, but it also feels like something fun they're able to go out and do that a lot of has been taken away. So that's where I'm at.
So if we did that,
Yeah.
do you want to offer or do you want to ask businesses to offer any deals and discounts that we promote, or not, like just kind of stay away from all of that and do that on social? You see what I'm asking?
I don't think we should be advertising necessarily deals and discounts because I don't know how many people can really afford to do a lot of deals and discounts at this point.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's like we could not offer deals and discount. Like it just not, I think a lot of businesses probably aren't in that position. And I feel like we just really should be focusing on the marketing of what businesses we have, not necessarily specials, because I think not a lot of people right now are necessarily even looking for specials. They're just looking to do something and feel like they're participating in their community. And, you know, I don't think specials are what's going to draw people to the event. I think it's the fact that they get to go do something that will draw people. That would be my.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm here. I agree with that. You know, unless I'm a full discount, you know, something depending on what the shape and nature of this is going to be, something that might be a good, you know, so we can get the businesses involved, have either sponsored or sponsored events or booths that that various businesses could participate in, sort of like a planned thing. Like, you know, if we have chestnut roasting, for example, you know, Collegeville could volunteer to man that station, that sort of thing. Like booths that have been prescribed, and then we go out and look for volunteers in the business community to help out with the administration of them, if that makes sense. And if you can hear me, if I'm not too garbled.
You're better now.
I don't know about that, but I'll take.
Okay, I think Adam might hop on for a second and maybe share a little bit more, but I mean, I can tell you from a staff perspective, we're fine with that, right? We're here to serve you guys. So, you know, if the decision is, you know, if and when the market comes to fruition, we kind of support that type of activity, specifically around the holidays, that's fine by us. And so if I'm hearing this correctly, we wouldn't do winter go like we're used to, like, right, we know we're not going to do Santa and Mrs. Claus. We know we're not going to do petting reindeer. We know we're not going to do, you know, a zoo. And instead we would perhaps support this concept and just promote holiday shopping and service, you know, downtown EL as a whole. Is that a fair representation of what I'm kind of hearing?
Yes, that's from my perspective.
Okay.
I agree.
I just need a little bit of clarifying. So talking about instead of doing vendors, having the business owners man the stations downtown? Is that like, is that
I don't think there's enough. We don't know enough about exactly what it's going to be. I think Adam I think he's going to talk to us about the November board meeting. I think maybe what Tom was talking about was if businesses want to get involved, that they could have access to being involved in
okay.
vendor process as well. Like it's not a requirement, and we would
Yeah,
still have,
I mean, like. Sorry. Yeah. To expand on that, like, obviously, you know, in my mind, if a business wants to have a stand that has their own goods at it, I think that's fantastic. There's a lot of businesses that down here that don't really have anything that would be event appropriate for this. So I'm just thinking of like other things that could be done where they could, instead of us going down with some old textbooks, we could do something else to participate in the event that isn't directly tied to our business, but would help out and get our representation in the community. But if a business has something that they can actually do there that is directly related, I think that'd be fantastic.
Okay. Well, Adam's on. Adam, I'm going to stop sharing in case you want to share anything with them.
Am I able to share?
You should be now.
I mean, just because it wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Do you guys have any? We could do a motion. Why don't we do a motion to amend the agenda so that Adam discusses the winter market? Is there a motion for that?
Yeah.
I move to allow Adam to share and add to the
Motion.
agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will do a roll call vote. Crouch,
Yes.
Yonkis,
Yes.
Muth,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Holland.
Yes.
Excellent. The motion passes.
Okay, I'll just go through this really quick and let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully I'll be able to answer them. This is moving fast, and so we're still working out a lot of logistics. To the point of the conversations that just occurred, we're trying to come up with creative ways to engage the businesses that may not necessarily be occupying a vendor station or one of the business chalets. We're going to go really heavy on promoting and marketing all the businesses downtown in this winter market. It's going to be designed in a way that, draws people, not huge crowds. But we want, the whole point of it all is to provide more visibility to downtown businesses. And so we're coming up with ways. We're all ears. If you guys have any ideas, would love to hear them. But I'll just walk through this again, interrupt me if you have questions. So what we're proposing here is the daytime, nighttime, anytime place project. Just basically we want to activate, reactivate, and enhance our existing downtown public spaces and convert them into public places. Somewhere, these places where they're interesting, people want to spend time in. I imagine you guys have seen the metal picnic tables that we put out downtown. I think there's about 5 or 6 scattered throughout, but if you look at them, it's not really a place you want to spend a lot of time in. It's just a picnic table in the middle of concrete or grass. And so what we're proposing to do is to enhance some of these spaces and design them all for distancing. And so we have 7 spaces on the list so far. Division Street parking garage. So what we're going to do there, I'll go through that here in a bit. Public space outside the Marriott Hotel. If you imagine the elevated space along the Marriott, we're going to focus there. The Mac parking garage, Ann Street Plaza, Bill Sharp Park, Valley Court, and then the 500 block pedestrian alley. Let's see. So Division Street garage, we're all familiar with it. We're just proposing, we want to put picnic tables out there. Actually, let me see. Give you an idea what this is going to look like. So we want to turn that space into this place, right? So it's designed for distancing. We want to put heaters out there. It's going to be really cold, obviously. We want to get these dividers, really define the boundaries of people's space, because personal space matters a lot right now. With these art installations, these panels that are going in, grass, turf. So this is just an example of what we're talking about here. Let's see, let me bring the other document back up.
Looks really cool, Adam.
Yeah, thank you. We're working hard to make this happen.
And some of that I know it's the Division Street Garage, but the hamster cage, Adam, weren't we thinking that would perhaps stay out longer than just the markets? We would try to make that.
Yeah, so all the other locations
during the winter.
They're going to be what we're planning to do is make them permanent. The Mack Street Garage, the winter market that we're going to do there, think of that as an investment. So everything we're going to buy for that winter market, we're going to do some trial and error over the winter, some experimentation on pop-up events down there, city programming, but all the equipment, the infrastructure that we're purchasing for that place, basically we're going to push out in the spring and summer and offer it to businesses downtown free of charge to move out into on-street parking spaces for, parklets and other space, outdoor dining, what have you. This is just an example of the business chalets that we're considering purchasing. Right now we're budgeted, I can't remember, maybe 5 of them. We're not going to purchase any until we understand the level of interest from downtown brick and mortar in occupying them. And we're still hashing out the details, like what's that going to look like? Is this going to be, are we going to have one business occupy this for a couple months or a week or just a couple days? We're not sure yet. We're still seeking input on that. Here's a space outside the Marriott that we're talking about. Here's a metal picnic table that we placed out there. We're doing the best we can, working within the capacity constraints and resources that we have, but we're looking to upgrade it now. Of course, we want hand sanitizing stations. We want to provide all the safety features that are going to protect human health. We've met with fire. We're working on the fire pit location out there. You guys recognize these planter boxes? Yep. We're going to remove them from the garage and then repurpose them as barricades for the parklets on the streets. We're going to paint them and brand them so that people know when they see bright green planter box, they know something's going on. They know it's inviting. They know it's not a bright orange construction sign, barricade. They're not confused whether or not it's construction or an actual park to visit. The Mack garage, we have pulled in 5, every department, a couple external folks, gone through safety issues, fire challenges, everything. And so far, so good. We're overcoming barriers. It looks like we're going to be able to make this happen. You'll see the middle here is basically designed for I say events, but don't think large scale events. Think story time, some kind of modified event that we typically do, but just in a smaller scale. And then all the seating is going to look like the example I just showed you underneath the colorful garage and designed for distancing. Obviously, we have traffic flow for pedestrians, one entrance and exit, staffing that fully. Here's a rendering of the actual Mack garage that, this is the concept. This is the look we're going for. Just to give you an understanding, we want to do our best to make that garage feel like you're not in a garage, which will be challenging, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. We're working with Parks and Rec to get 2 to 3 pop-up. What's that, Tom?
Could you scroll to the proposed budget for that?
Yeah.
I just want to look at it real quick. I could be missing it here, but I don't see anything. And I'll admit, it's been a while since I've been down in that garage, and maybe it's changed. But I don't see anything in terms of additional lighting. In order to make that place feel inviting, I feel like, getting some daylight LED, something in there to really brighten it up is critical. Otherwise, no matter what you bring down there, it's going to feel like a dank garage.
Yeah, great point.
Just a suggestion.
We'll get there in a second, Tom. That's a good point.
All right.
We've got money for some special events, event planning. We're really trying to engage the community, get them down here, reactivate our downtown in the safest way possible. We're not going to do anything that's going to potentially compromise public health. It will be in consultation with Ingham County Health, of course. So I say events, but don't think, hundreds of people crammed in this garage. That's not what we're envisioning. Ann Street Plaza, just doing some enhancements, already a beautiful space. Get a retail shed hut out there. Again, hand sanitizing stations, trying to enhance our safety features. Bill Sharp Park, same thing. We're just going to add some seating. Let's see. For Valley Court, it's obviously a very utilized space. And so over the winter, we're going to be soliciting a lot of input on what the community would like to see there. And then launch a public spaces, community places crowdfunding campaign to make it happen. So stay tuned. And then again, the 500 block pedestrian alley, just some enhancements, just to kind of prepare folks for winter. It's already a beautiful place, and get that hand sanitizing station in there. The downtown light installations, we're still hashing out the details, but I think we're up to 5 contractors we've met this week. So the skywalk connecting the Marriott garage to the parking garage, this is our vision. Something like this, we're going to be putting lighting features in there to really, make it more attractive and catch your eye, but nothing like, a Vegas lights, nothing blinding that's going to blind a driver or anything. We're also putting string lightings up in Ann Street Plaza in the elevated space outside the Marriott. We're putting lighting underneath the hamster garage. We're gonna modify the lighting in the parking garage as well. So stay tuned for that. And we're currently evaluating the feasibility of doing these interactive lighted pathways throughout downtown, just to draw people, just to make it a more desirable, attractive place to go. We're doing our best to account for all the costs. For the spring and summer, we want to use what we're purchasing now for this market. We're going to do experiment this summer, but we're purchasing things with spring and summer in mind. And we're designing a program and the parameters for businesses to apply just to use that for extensions into the public right of way or sidewalks, parking lots, what have you. So we're really doing our best to stretch limited resources. The market, we don't know if it's going to be successful or not. Nobody does, but we've got to try. And so we're going to attempt to do that in the most cost-effective way by repurposing everything that we purchased for the market as a pilot. The rest is just everything we've done up till now for business support, downtown support. There's 6 curbside pickup locations. I don't know if you can see the sign. Let me zoom way in here. It's our first attempt at a curbside pickup program. I'm sure everyone is very visible. You guys all know where it is. Catches your eye. Not really. We learned from our mistakes. We've rebranded it. These are already installed. We've got some, we've replaced the 6 spaces in Bailey Lot. Anytime you see a pink sign, we want people to associate it with curbside pickup only zone. We've put 2 spaces in Valley Court. And of course, we're open to ideas for more spaces from downtown merchants, whatever's going to help. So we're trying to learn from the pilot programs we've already done and then apply those lessons moving forward. You may or may not seen this sign already. just trying to convey that message. Masks are required, stay safe. These are just the street signs, the metal street signs that we've placed throughout downtown. That doesn't include all the other 8.5 by 11 poster signs that we've placed. And of course, outdoor dining on Albert. You look back on that, and the ideas were there. The will was there to put lights up there and plants and vegetation. It's just at that time the funding wasn't there to do that, the capacity to do that. So yeah, we have accomplished a lot so far, but in my opinion, it's not enough. So we're plugging away to do more to help. So with that, are there any questions, feedback? Because all ears, that we're just trying to help the best we can. I bored you guys.
No.
Yeah, this here. I got to a little bit more on the Mariana garage. What's the activating the underground garage for this environment as opposed to one of the like a floor in one of the above ground garages where there's better airflow and there's more natural light? And I know the artist conception looked pretty good, but it just seems to me that sort of thing would be better served in more of an outdoor environment.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. The ventilation system in there though is unbelievable. If you turn that fan all the way up, your hair will pop off your head. But the reasoning behind that is because we attempted to go that route, Tom, but there's barrier after barrier. You have private parking in between, public parking, and we just kept coming across too many barriers. And so that's the reasoning behind it. The initial concept though was to be, on one of the third, fourth levels of the parking garage. But this is what we have to work with.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're going to do our best to make it work in the most cost-effective way. Again, repurpose everything for spring and summer.
Thanks.
So yeah, I just wanted, so that would stay like that, or just through the winter?
Just through the winter. Again, it's just, so we could wait until the springtime to purchase all that equipment in order for the businesses to move outside. We want to purchase the infrastructure that businesses need to move outside. If you're paying attention to consumer behaviors, it doesn't look like, consumer preference as far as outdoor environments is going to change anytime soon. And so we want to be prepared in the spring to prepare the businesses for that. And so our thought was, instead of waiting until March to purchase everything, why not purchase those things now and then pilot these pop-ups and do some trial and error, see what works, doesn't work. And then come springtime, we can actually push that out to the businesses.
So the idea behind this is not just like a winter market. It's like a winter market test run for Eastland.
Yeah, like if we're going to do pop-up events, just working through that process. There's so many moving parts to all of this and it's new to all of us. We're going to be able to do trial and error, learn, and then do a better job come spring and summer.
To have
these outdoor pop-ups.
Is it realistic to get some of this done before Christmas, to do it as a holiday market? Yes, no?
We're shooting for before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so I didn't know what. No,
that's a valid question. I mean, we're doing our best. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. I just sometimes.
Yeah, we're trying to get this up and running before Thanksgiving. We're depending on the temperature, we're going to be slabbing some paint down in that garage next week to beautify it, if you will.
Okay.
Adam, wasn't the concept for like 1 week in November, like 1 market in November and 2 in December, if it worked out?
So there's a couple different things going on here. Yeah. So the concept for the farmers market will be 2 to 3 farmers markets. That's just the plan right now, from now until the end of the year in the garage. And then, in between those farmers markets, we want to do pop-up events and then some city programming. Because there's 43,000 square feet in that space, we have a lot of room to spread out. And so if we can, get the folks that usually go to storytelling time, if we can provide an environment that's safe for them to do that in person, as opposed to on the screen, that's what we're trying to do.
I have a question on that too. With the markets, if it's just, is it just going to be in the garage, or is there going to be something that people can visibly see when driving around?
Yeah, so we're definitely want to make it visible that, hey, there's something down here. We're coming up with the best way to do that. But it's definitely going to be very visible. If we have takers on the pop-up sheds, you're going to see that in the Ann Street Plaza. You're going to see one outside the Marriott. You're going to see one at Division Street Garage. In addition to all the lighting, the picnic tables, but as far as the actual, the signage or whatnot to go to the garage, we're working on ideas on how to best do that.
Sorry, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, that's why we're here. Yeah.
Would those pop-up shed thing, not they're permanent, but how is that being offered to the businesses? A, B, is that like a rental, or are we offering it to the businesses for free?
We're all offering it all for free.
Okay, and so what is the maximum amount of those that we can fit in the downtown?
Well, I haven't measured everything yet, but I'm not sure. That's a good question. I think if we can do prove this proof of concept and people buy into it and it works, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement and activity moving towards that direction of how many more can we get in here.
I just want so it's like 10, yeah.
Oh no, yeah, more. We could fit more than 10, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Budget-wise, Adam, are we planning on like 5 at first?
Yeah, I think 5 at first, but we're not going to purchase any until we understand the level of interest. And to your question about who's going to occupy them, what's that process? That's what we're working out, how to do that in a fair way. And so the thought is maybe an RFP or an application process, first come, first serve, that meet all the parameters and requirements of that program.
Is it downtown businesses only, or is it going to be open to everybody, or have we determined that yet?
For the
pop-up, whatever sheds you want to call them.
We're starting off for downtown businesses in East Lansing right now. That's our focus. So as far as the winter market's concerned, depending on the level of interest, I think we're up to around a dozen vendors from the farmers market who've already expressed a lot of interest. But we may have to look outside East Lansing. It all depends on the level of interest.
Yeah, the market, I understand, but the actual pop-up.
The pop-up is the intent of that is for our brick and mortar.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay. I had one more.
I would be kind of interested if
I just like to point out that with sorry, go ahead.
I'd be kind of interested if maybe we could look into, I don't know, having 1 or 2 if this takes off, if there's not as much interest, because there isn't a ton of retail down here right now, but maybe opening it up to like an incubator type thing where we bring in 1 or 2 outside vendors along with the local shops, because
that's a good point. There's not a lot of retail down here, and so we're trying to see what that's going to look like. One thing is this trying to be able to provide the business case for having outside vendors come in. The research is there. The more activity, regardless of who it is, a food truck, whatever, it's better for everybody. Everybody wins in that situation. However, there is some resistance to having, outside businesses come in. And so we're working through that and see how the best way to approach this.
Where's the resistance coming from?
So
Just some, some businesses feel like that's just competition coming in, right?
I think it's more that people also want the opportunity because those are higher visibility. Like in this specific example, those would be higher visibility traffic spots and more desirable because it's part of a fun, cool event. Let's go check it out. So I personally, from my experience in the downtown with the businesses on this board and personally, I think that there isn't as much resistance as long as the businesses in East Lansing are involved. If we were to say that it's open to the businesses, you can come and 3 of them sign up, but nobody wants the other 2, I don't see that the businesses have animosity towards filling the other 2. It's just when it feels like the business owners aren't the first priority.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. They are the first priority. And to another one of your points, the point of this is to provide that visibility, right? Everything's moving online. The foot traffic is down. And so we want to provide more visibility to our businesses. And so if we go ahead.
Sorry,
Tom.
go ahead.
No.
I was just going to add to that. One of the major points for having this sort of thing is it provides a great onboarding opportunity for small micro businesses to work themselves into the downtown community. You walk downtown and there's so many places for rent available. If we get some retailers or eateries or something doing these pop-up shops, well, the natural tendency then is to try to transition them into a permanent brick and mortar. So if you're asking for the business case for it, that's the business case. Decreasing the vacancies in the downtown, which helps everybody.
Yep.
So that would be important for it.
Absolutely. Toss around that concept like, okay, if we can treat some of these as incubators and maybe find space in the brick and mortar for like an accelerator place, right? To help business owners grow, I think that'd be great. Absolutely.
Okay, well, I think just in general, I know we don't have anywhere near the amount of money that it takes to participate in a lot of this. But in my just opinion, I think that our money would be better spent advertising this than a second thing. So whenever this does go live, if we put our money into advertising dollars, whether that's social media, however we deem that we can most effectively use our money to advertise what's happening for the holidays through this event, I would prefer to do that versus trying to add something else in, just like maximize what we're spending, the city or DDA or whatever, the community is spending a lot of money to try, and this is obviously a large project. And so I would prefer to make sure it's as successful for the business owners as possible.
Absolutely, I agree.
Can you share that with us, Adam, or is that not?
Oh yeah, it's public. Amy, you want to send it out to everyone afterwards?
Sure, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that's, I'm hearing this consensus. I think the question so now is, we can rediscuss it at the November board meeting if you want. I can give this recommendation, or if you want to move more quickly, I guess we could have 2 items on the agenda next week for the emergency board meeting. But if I'm hearing this correctly, preference is not to do a separate event. Preference is to sink money to support this and potentially, give marketing dollars towards this. So
yes, I don't think that I want to have this board meeting next week. We have time to decide how we're going to advertise this. Hold on. Based upon more developments with what's happening come to fruition by our next board meeting. I don't see an issue with needing to make a decision of how we're going to advertise this before we're exactly clear with how it's going to come to fruition. So.
Well, there you go, Adam. You've got backers for DMB. So.
Yeah, love the idea.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
I'm hopeful that we'll have some success with this. If not, we'll have some beautiful places in downtown to hang out in.
Yeah, well, I think that that's a huge part of it. We want East Lansing to look like an inviting place that it hasn't always felt. It feels sometimes kind of cold when you go downtown East Lansing. It's not super community, cool, hip, innovative place. It doesn't necessarily always feel like that. So I think at a minimum, this would make it a more inviting place to come downtown post-COVID anyway.
Nice. I agree. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, I think we have direction then on that. The other element of holiday stuff we wanted to talk with you guys quickly about, because I know that we're already to 2 o'clock, is Toys for Tots. So I'm going to turn that over to Gabby to talk to you guys about. Can you guys hear Gabby? No. Hey, Gabby, can you turn up the volume? Okay, can we try again? No, you can't hear? Okay. Great. Well, we're going to troubleshoot with Gabby, and I can, I'll go into it, but Gabby, like wave your hands if you think it gets better or something. So, okay. So I'll just cut to the chase then, guys. So you guys know in the last 2 years, we have supported Toys for Tots. I guess the question now is, given sort of the scope of COVID, and, I know we had a lot of discussion about, what do we want to ask of businesses and what don't we? Are you guys interested in hosting a campaign? So, in years past, what we've done is we as staff have reached out to the Marines. We've had boxes delivered to us, and then we have delivered those to the businesses. I think if we are interested, we could start distribution as early as November 6th, give it about 4 weeks. It could end in December. Last year, I think we had about 23 businesses participate and service toy collection sites. So I think that we're really just looking to, get your feedback on, is this something we think we want to undertake this year? And if so, staff is happy to implement it, or do you think we should step away? So.
I don't really see why we would change this. I mean, businesses can put one in, or they don't have to. They could participate if they want to. I don't really think that it hurts anybody either way, and it doesn't cost us like anything. Correct. And all it tends to do is benefit kids that need it. And I'm sure there are more kids than ever right now that their families could use some help. So I don't see why we would change course with this.
So everybody, I'm kind of seeing heads nodding if we're in agreement on this. Okay. Okay, then I think that
participates and nobody participates. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I mean, I think that that's a fair. I
agree.
Okay, so I think that even though there's no funding, maybe we could just motion and entertain a motion to have the Downtown Management Board host the Toys for Tots collection. So is there a motion for that, and then a second?
All motion.
Second.
Okay.
From Megan.
Roll call. Crouch.
Yeah.
Quinn.
Yes.
Holland.
Yes.
Yonkis.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start that process now, probably pretty early. So we'll have updates for you by the November board meeting. But I think that we'll just start the process of reaching out and letting the businesses start to register to agree to serve as a toy collection site.
Yeah, I think the longer the better too, with the slower traffic.
That's what I'm thinking.
The longer the option that people have to deliver, I think the better.
Great. Perfect.
Low.
Okay. Okay. Porta potties, everybody's favorite topic of discussion. Okay, so not last year, but in years prior, the Downtown Management Board has considered renting porta potties during big football games. I recognize that right now, individuals, my understanding is that people that can go into the stadium are family or, friends approved by the sports league. But I think that, to be frank, we as staff and everybody are kind of interested to see what happens tomorrow, right? Like how many people are coming down, what does that look like? Obviously for your guys' sake, I want everybody to be super, super busy, like socially conscious and 6 feet apart, but busy. So I guess the question is, do you think it would be well spent to perhaps get some porta potties, maybe 4 or 5 down here for the U of M MSU game? So that would be Halloween weekend. So we could have some additional porta potties down here for Halloween and the U of M MSU game. The porta potties are about $115 each. This committee could approve up to, $500 in expenditures. So we just wanted to bring it to you for consideration, get your thoughts. We did not rent them last year. The DDA, I believe, did, but we wanted to bring it to you for consideration.
Is there a reason why the DDA decided not to do it this year?
Frankly, I think that it was, I don't know if I want to say an afterthought, but I think that they thought that they would rather you guys weigh in and consider it.
I'm not a business owner, but I would think, Chanel, for example, you might appreciate having porta potties downtown to keep people from using your bathroom. I assume it does cut down on public urination and all those fun things. They seem like little germaphobe containers to me, but at the same time, I can totally see the upside. Chanel, as a business owner, what do you think? Does it relieve the pressure off your bathroom usage?
For us, no, but I think a retail store maybe has a different perspective. We're very like, I don't want to say we're strict against people not using our bathroom, because if we're not busy, people are more than welcome to come in and use our bathroom in a normal environment. But like when we're busy on a football game, no one can just walk up and be like, can I use your bathroom? Yeah, no. And then they don't, it's not something that they push, but it may be different for retail. I'm curious if we're having a meeting next week, can we just put this on the meeting next week? Because I am curious to see if there's anybody downtown outside of the establishments, because there's the no tailgate, because there can't be open containers. There's like so many rules. I am curious to see if people are coming downtown East Lansing outside of having a reservation inside of an establishment. And so I don't see a reason to this isn't for this weekend. So if we can wait and do it on Tuesday after we see what this is like, I think that would be financially responsible. But if people feel passionately about doing it now, whatever.
That is fine from a staff perspective. We have no concerns. The turnout stuff's fast. So.
Maybe like twice a season I get someone busting at my doors, that's, tailgating, trying to use.
And that's in a regular environment.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd be really interested to hear other people's opinion, because I'm a jewelry store, so that might be kind of more scary, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should just wait, because if nobody comes downtown, if there is not some problem this weekend, and if there is a problem this weekend, then we know for sure, like I just don't want to spend $500 on something that we can wait to decide on next week.
Perfect. Okay, we'll just add it to the agenda for next Tuesday. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so we talked a lot about, I know I mentioned this a little bit, I'm going to move us right along. So the business crawl event. So this is the event that the Lansing Chamber of Commerce is hosting. You guys might remember pre-COVID, do you guys remember that they came to the board and they said, hey, we want to host this event. We want to encourage retail and restaurants, and COVID hit. And so then this is sort of their supplemental, okay, that's not going to work. That's going to be way too many people. Let's try to host some other activities. So they came to me in particular saying, hey, we're going to host this event with the downtown management board. So they're thinking of like the crawl cards, if you will. I mean, I always think of like your crawl cards, but you know what we're talking about, like postcard size with the different businesses' names and stamps on them. They said, is the DMV willing to underwrite that? And I said, let me ask. So I did get a quote back from ASAP on that, and that would be a little less than $200. And I did ask them, I said, well, if the DMV does that, do they get to be listed as a sponsor of the event? And can they put their logo on the crawl cards because they're paying for them? And they said, yes. So I said, okay, I will share that with the committee. I had just wondered if you guys wanted to perhaps allocate up to $500 in case, for example, we needed to print these twice. Right now it's based off of 500 crawl cards, but you certainly don't need that amount. I would recommend if you just want to do if you want to sponsor and if you want to print crawl cards, then that would be, like I said, $200. So Again, the dates of the event are November 16th through the 21st and then December 1st through the 12th. So does anyone have thoughts about sponsoring and what that sponsorship would look like?
And I'm sorry, I got a call in the middle of your explanation, but I don't know the history of this. Has it proven to be successful or in the past?
It's the first time they've done it.
Hmm.
Oh, it's the first time they've done it down here.
Does anybody else besides me have opinion?
I guess what do they have to? You just have to go into the store and get a stamp. Is that what they're?
So my understanding is that you have to, you go into the place of business, restaurant, store, hair salon, wherever, you purchase something, you get a receipt, and you get a stamp. And then supposedly once you purchase something, you get a stamp from the business owner, you then submit the information to the chamber with the card, and I believe the receipt, and then the chamber enters you into like drawings for giveaways.
Have they gotten any of the businesses in East Lansing to participate? Did you say?
As of Tuesday or Wednesday, Gabby, didn't they say they had 8? And they thought that other people were going to roll in. So registration is open through next Monday. We've sent out 3 reminders about it this week. And
I will make sure to spend $500 on
up to 500. Okay.
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Crouch,
yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Yonkis,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
The motion passes. I'm going to scroll back up here.
And they'll give us some sort of report on how successful this is. And
Absolutely. Well, to be frank, I think I'm probably going to come back to the table next month. I think that they're hoping that, you know, businesses might be willing to give away some free giveaways, you know, but that's kind of at their ask, right? So perhaps Harper's would give a gift card and, you know, whatever. Someone might give like a cool towel, you know what I mean? Like whatever goods are that they're going to give some giveaways, but that's not necessarily on the DMV. Okay, so the last kind of agenda item that I wanted to talk about, and I know that we're over time, so I'm going to make it quick. I know that we've had a lot of discussion about, and particularly at the last board meeting, there was discussion about the fact that we do not have a gift card program, right? We used to have one. It was part of the Discover line. It was with this Omni group, and Discover went under it and said, we're done with the program. We're not going to do it anymore. So I wanted to make you aware of the fact that over COVID and during COVID, when we were working from home, staff did meet with this Yifty group. It's a little bit different concept in the sense that there are no fees at all. Like if the DMV decided to go down a road like this. However, I believe the merchants like that would participate do pay like a slightly higher you know, user fee, if you will, to kind of accept the gift card. We certainly do not need to make any decisions today. I just wanted to bring it to the table because it came up at the last board meeting. And I guess, frankly, the central question to you guys is, would you like staff to spend some additional time and to research some gift card programs? And would you be interested in hearing more?
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. This also looks interesting because there's no fees to the organizer.
Correct.
It doesn't cost us anything. It just provides the opportunity for businesses to participate.
Okay.
I don't think they would be opposed to paying a higher, I'm assuming it's like a processing fee, so it's not.
It is. Like, I think instead of like, let's say it's 3%, it's like 3.5%.
Yeah, so I would assume everybody would be more than happy right now if people were doing this. So yeah, can we talk about this more?
Yes, we can make it a focus of our next subcommittee meeting. Okay, so we'll get more information and report back, but we didn't want to spend any more time if you guys were like, no, forget it. we don't want to talk about
you
this.
might check out Traverse City's program from a customer standpoint. Every year I get my brother a gift card to downtown Traverse City stores, and it's very easy from the customer standpoint, but I don't know what program they use.
Is there's individual businesses or downtown Traverse City card that can be used anywhere?
Downtown Traverse City card. Yep. So he can take it to any, all participating businesses in that program. But one of the pushes that Michigan Retailers is making is having people put out on social media that for gifts this year, please buy me something local. You know, I don't want anything from Amazon. I'm asking my family and friends to honor that. So I would think a downtown gift card is, you know, perfectly fits into that whole message.
Yeah, so if we could get enough information on this instead of the next subcommittee meeting, can we put it on the
Board meeting.
board meeting? And because if we could get this up and running and by December meeting in time for Christmas.
I will tell you that Yifty sent me an email and said, if you guys are interested in this, we promise you we'll get it up and running by Christmas.
Yeah, so I would like to pursue that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Do you
think
want
this
to
is
hear from-
I think this is high priority.
Do you want to hear directly from Yifty or do you want staff to just generate information? and
I mean, if it's easier for you guys, I don't have a problem hearing directly from them so they
Okay,
can
I just wanna-
understand what we need
Okay.
and what our needs in the city are.
And
I like the
because
community
this-
card. That whole
That's what I thought.
column for the community card sounds like something I think we would be.
Yeah,
I think it's right up our alley. What we've been looking for. You know, I mean, we've always kind of been opposed to the gift card thing because I think people have tried it before, but just seeing that image, seeing some of the pieces of that, I think that makes a lot of sense nowadays, and it really does get to the heart of shop local. So it gives us
also more
something we
convenient.
can market pretty easily.
You don't have to keep like 10 gift cards. Like my mom could get me $20 to 5 different places in East Lansing, or she could give me $100 to East Lansing, right? I don't need 10 cards for it. Sorry, that's something ringing here. But so yes, can we talk about this at the next meeting?
Yes, we will talk about it at the November board meeting.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, gang. So I think that we've pretty much covered all items. Right now, we have had 6 different entries for the photo contest, but we really feel like as staff, we're gonna get a lot of entries like the closer we get to Halloween, right? I'm not so sure how many people have their Halloween costumes
I
ready.
just ordered my kids today, so.
There you go, see? So the other fun thing that I did mention before is that we do have selfie stations at the farmer's market, and I will tell you farmer's market has been like heavily boosting that this week. Like they're on it, they're really excited about it. So we're hoping, so I'll keep you guys updated on what that looks like. So,
Perfect. Thank you.
so those are my main items, unless anyone has anything else they would like to share.
Anybody have anything they would like to say? Alrighty. I motion to adjourn.
Amy, I know we want to adjourn. So
No, that's okay.
one thing, and I don't think we discussed it at the last meeting, and I wasn't at the marketing meeting, and I wasn't sure if you had planned or wanted to speak at this meeting, but the neighborhood app polling, I don't know if that would pertain more to marketing
yes,
or
just send
more
me
to
an email about
business
this.
relations, but and that could be something for the next meeting. It's no rush, but there is what appears to be a pretty decent way to get polling from local areas, neighborhood specific, where you can get people's thoughts and opinions on maybe questions that maybe the DMV has about local businesses, and you know, perception of mask wearing was the one that caught my eye. There was a poll about whether or not, you know, people felt that mask wearing downtown was working, or they saw it as much as they wanted to, and most people said that they did not see it as often as they wanted to. But what really struck me is our ability, maybe as the DMV or as the city, to post polls that are maybe less slanted towards one way or the other, just to get people's perspective from the local neighborhoods of coming downtown and what they would like to see or engage in. And so I do think that if we can, or staff can, come up with, you know, frequent polls and then get people engaged with us in those neighborhood apps. I'm trying to remember. I think it's just called, I don't know. I just has a next door.
There's also a ton of, in this community, at least a ton of neighborhood Facebook groups too, that you can advertise stuff in. And I think that we could also, on top of just polling, do a better job of partnering with like neighborhood associations and letting them know about the events we're doing. Cause well, I live in an HOA, so they do a ton of stuff advertising, and like they have meetings every month and stuff. And I know my parents' neighborhood is not an HOA, but they have a very active association and they put out their own like magazine monthly.
Yep.
So
Not
Seems
anymore.
like they maybe have some money to, spend at downtown, so.
they have like a White Hills neighborhood dialogue or something. And so they do,
Yeah.
Been canceled from my understanding.
it got canceled. Oh.
I wonder why.
So we could do also a better job just keeping that in mind for advertising different events, is reaching out just to presidents of neighborhood associations and letting them, like putting them on an email list or something.
I think your neighborhood is probably pretty active with that, Chanel.
Your neighborhood, Corey?
Are you guys both up in Hawk Nest? Is that why you're?
Correct. And it's wild. I'll just
Our
leave.
Facebook pages, I had to unfollow it.
Yeah, I know, like here in Glencairn and like across here, like it seems like the neighborhood, the next door app seems to have a lot of people on it, but then just, the different Facebook or neighborhood associations, we have the same thing where we have, the different groups. And I think that's not a bad idea to have at least the people who are engaged at the top of those groups, communicating with them pretty regularly about events and then them sharing it with the people. And I think that's a great idea. But
Well, we have
engaging
like
with them-
HOA meetings every month and then they email out the minutes. So even if it's just like sent to them and put in the meeting, but then gets like, if it's an event like this holiday market thing, like
Yeah.
announcement, we're doing this in downtown East Lansing, it would get emailed to every member in our HOA if we presented at a meeting or provide them with something.
Yeah. And maybe it'd be good to have them come or invite them to a meeting, one of our board meetings, and hear, different perspectives from different neighborhood association leaders to say, what are the people in your neighborhood looking for as part of the community, And so I don't know, I just think engaging with the local population may be something we want to do a little bit more as well, just to hear their voice or, get us in front of them a little bit. So those are some good opportunities. That's all. I didn't want to expand any more than that. So.
No, and I apologize, Justin, you emailed me this and I totally
Okay, I didn't make the agenda. It's fine.
lost track of it. No, you will make the agenda strong the next two meetings. How's that?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Let's talk more about it.
Thank you. I motion to adjourn again.
I second that motion.
Roll call vote. Crouch,
Yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Yonkis,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
The motion passes. Thank you one and all for your time.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
will you stay on and we're going to try to play with your volume? Okay, perfect.
Bye, guys.
Well,
Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Bye,
day.
everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
So, okay, so Gabby on the, can you hit end video on the YouTube? Or stop video? Okay. Yeah.